Hey there, it is Rachel, and I want to give you a tip if you are experiencing a lot of drama when you have to get your child off of screens. And if you are raising a child with big emotions, my guess is there is a lot of drama. Because very honestly, kids who feel strongly, they do feel a tremendous amount of discomfort when they have to get off of their screens. The first reason is because it is very hard for them to stop doing something that feels good to transition to the next thing. So they have discomfort from that. They also often feel, when we ask them to get off of their device, out of control. They know they have to get off. They feel like there's nothing they can do about it. And that creates a huge amount of discomfort. They also experience a lot of uncomfortable feelings because they feel like we don't care, that we are trying to push our agenda, like you have to get off of your screens and come to the dinner table, over what matters to them. So for all of these reasons, they feel it really strongly when we ask them to get off of their screens. So the behavior you see in response to your request, even if you're asking them nicely, the behavior you see is actually in response to the level of discomfort that they're feeling. So when they're disrespectful, or when they're defiant, or when they're blaming you, all of this is just a sign of the yuck that they are experiencing. So I want to make this a little bit easier on you, and this is where my tip comes in. And my tip is to make screen time predictable. What I mean by that is try to allow them to have the same amount of time and the same time of day each day. Or if you can't do that, do it each week. So for example, you might say, okay, screen time is between 4 and 5 every day. But if your schedule doesn't allow for that, you can say on Mondays it's going to be between 4 and 5. On Tuesdays, because you have soccer practice, it's going to be between 5 and 6. Make sure though that they know when it's going to happen, they know when it's going to end. Even better if you can make a visual calendar so they know when they're going to have to get off. The reason this matters so much is especially when you feel things strongly, being able to predict that discomfort can actually help a lot. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Obviously, you're probably dealing with a lot of big emotions in your home. So when you are dealing with these big emotions, if you have no idea when they're going to happen, you probably know this. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, and that discomfort is even bigger when it does happen because you didn't necessarily know it was going to happen. It's like, oh, here we go again. Here's the drama. Here's the meltdown. However, if you notice that there's a pattern, that your child always melts down when they are tired, or they always melt down on Sunday nights before they have to go to school the next day, when you know it's going to happen, it actually becomes easier. Because you know that it's going to happen, let's say on Sunday nights, you can be prepared for it. And because you know it's going to happen, when it actually does happen, your brain thinks, oh, there it is. I knew this was going to happen. It makes it a lot easier. To be able to handle the discomfort of having to get off of the device, it's actually easier if your kids can predict it, if it becomes something that they know is going to happen. So what happens eventually is they know this is going to happen, and then the other added bonus is that the routine of how it's supposed to go, that becomes the bad guy instead of you. So again, creating predictability around screen time can be very helpful in reducing their discomfort and reducing the battles that you may have. If you want to hear a little bit more about addressing screen time with kids with big emotions, you can find that on my latest podcast episode on my website at rachel-bailey.com/240. I would also invite you though to join my free Facebook group where I do release my latest podcast episode each week. And I also offer other free tips and resources. You can find my group on Facebook at Your Parenting Long Game Podcast Community. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back again soon with more tips for you. Take care.